Hey there, it's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Radcliffe.
There she is. Look at that smile. It's Camille Cook. She's the founder of Power in the Pews. You may hear her show on 970 WNIV. And not only that, Dan, she is a nurse practitioner. So I've got to ask her this question. First of all, Camille, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We're glad you're with us.
Yes. But we'll get into Power in the Pews in a second. But can you help me? Every time I raise my hand, it hurts. What should I do?
Stop raising your hand.
There you go.
All right. Well, the check's
like
in the
a
mail.
true nurse practitioner.
Yeah. The check's in the mail to Camille Cook. Hey, I was watching one of your videos the other day, and I can't remember if it was on your website or if it was on Facebook. And I love what you do. You were talking about what Power in the Pews does. It's not just a teaching ministry, it's discipleship. And you also have a clinic that you do twice a month. And let's see, what else do you have? You have the homeless thing that you're doing. And I love all that. I mean, you're not just doing one thing. You're doing so many things. In fact, I don't even know when you have time to sleep because you are a nurse practitioner as well. So let's start from the beginning. What gave you the idea to do Power in the Pews, be the founder, and to do so many things as a ministry?
Well, it started back in 2006. I was talking to a friend and we were talking about the Lord and different things. And, I said, Mary, there is really power in the pews. And it was like this eureka moment. And she was like, Camille? I said, yeah, something just kind of happened. And I never forget when that happened. And the Lord was giving me information. He was downloading information to me about Power in the Pews, and I never will forget. I was watching Kill Bill. I was sitting on the sofa watching Kill Bill, and and then God said, Camille, I can use someone else. And that just kind of chilled me. It just arrested me. And I said, Lord, if you just give me tonight, I'll make an outline of the booklet that he was downloading to me. I said, just give me tonight. I'll get you an outline. And tomorrow, I promise the information you're giving me, I will write down. And it was so interesting. It's like I went to work the next day. I couldn't hardly work for writing down all that he was giving me about the little booklet, Power in the Pews. So the ministry really started with that booklet. And it's a little 30-page booklet. We give it out for free, but I kid you not, I wrote that back in 2006. And every time I read it, it is as if I just wrote it. It's still just so anointed to me in that way. So that's how I know I didn't write it, that he wrote it, because it's still relative and it's just still so good and it's just still so accurate. And it is power in the pews. And a lot of times we think because we don't have ministerial titles that what we offer to the Lord is not of value. And it is of value. And even though we do need pastors and teachers and all of that, because the Bible says we need that. But just because you may be a teacher or a janitor or a nurse or whatever, God has given you something to do for him in the kingdom and for people. And you shouldn't devalue that just because you don't think you have a title. And so that's really the origin of this, is to encourage people who go to church, who love the Lord, to do what he has told you to do, because it's power in that, because collectively it's more people in the pews than they are people that's teaching and ministering. It's more of us in the pews, and that's where the work is supposed to be done as well. We do overburden pastors and teachers and people that work in the church, and we just kind of go to church and come home, and that's not what he wants from us to do. He wants us to do what he has called us to do. It is of value and is needed. I don't think people think that it is needed, but it is, because I'm a nurse practitioner, like you said. So I don't have an official title in a sense. I know I'm a teacher. I know God has given me the gift of teaching, but I'm not a pastor or bishop or anything like that. I am a nurse practitioner who has been obedient to the call that God has placed on my life. And so that's why I want to encourage other people to do as well.
Well, I love what you said about how you were sitting there watching a movie and you heard God say, I can use somebody else. And just the humbling experience that is, that, God's called me to do something and here I am. How many of us do that, where we know God is calling us to do something and we go, I'll do that later?
Absolutely. And something I say all the time, Just because I'm doing it, it doesn't mean I was his first choice. I could have been 5,163,000. I don't know who else he asked to do this. I think sometimes we kind of get a little puffed up when we do something for the Lord as if he was our first, we were his first choice. We don't know that. We don't know how many people we asked before we said, okay, I'll do it. And so, we need to understand that he can go get someone else. And a lot of times when that happens, you will know that that was your thing. Okay. He's going to allow you to know this is the thing I told you to do. And you just kind of didn't do it. Now you got somebody else doing it. And it's really upsetting when someone else is doing it and they're not as good at it as you are, but they said yes.
That's
but
funny.
They said yes to the call. And so God will use whoever and whatever deficiencies they have. He will make, he will fulfill, he will go in and fill in the gaps there so that he can still get the work done. But it's really humbling when someone else is called and you're actually better than they are, but you didn't say yes.
Camille Cook is the founder of Power in the Pews. You can hear the show at 7:30 a.m., I believe, 970 WNIV, teaching, evangelism, community service. And I do want to talk about the clinic and also the homeless thing in a minute, but this is on my mind, and you know how I am because you said you listened. So I've got it. This thing in my head says you've got to know the answer to this question. Did you finish Kill Bill and then write it, or did you start immediately?
The sad part about it, I had already seen Kill Bill.
So you know how it ended.
I know how it's like I was just procrastinating. That was the issue. That's what he was trying to get me to see. You're procrastinating because you've seen this already.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, I suffer in that as well. So I was just curious. I'm like, okay, did she finish the movie? But you were obedient. You did what he asked you to do. And I'm just taken aback. I'm just so impressed by what you're doing. Like second and fourth Saturday, you're doing the clinic and you're there, you're helping folks with, with whatever actually that they have, I guess. So kind of run down how people are coming and what you can provide there.
Yeah, I started the clinic out as a mobile clinic before we got a ministry location. I was actually doing a clinic in a homeless shelter. And then when we finally got a location for Power in the Pews, I moved the clinic into the office. And it's twice a month. It's a free clinic, and it's really primary care. The clinic was started because people were going to the emergency rooms for blood pressure medicine and cholesterol medicine, or they ran out of their pills. And I was thinking it's a better way to manage this than just, bottleneck in the ER with people who need med refills. And so the clinic started back in like 2008. And so, so we just kind of kept it going. And, now we have, the healthcare reform and more people are able to get insurance, but there's still people who don't have it. And not only did we used to do the clinic, we used to package up medications and give it to people. I give them 30 days worth of their medications for free. And now, thank God, we have some medicines now that they just offer free at the pharmacy. So we no longer have to do that. But yeah, it's really for primary care and acute things too, like a sinus infection, UTIs, blood pressure, diabetes. So it's that kind of thing. We draw blood. We do draw labs, and we also see women who are in battered shelters. Women, they come to us as well, and they kind of have to be very secretive, of course, for that. But then we see them as well, and I really enjoy the clinic. I see patients all the time, but this is a different feel because you really know you're helping people, and that's really kind of what it's all about. And then we started the homeless outreach in 2018. So 2018 and 2019, we did the homeless outreach. And of course, COVID kind of shut us down last year, but we were going to Woodruff Park. And I just had no idea the need was great. It was Woodruff Park. We also went to under Grady Bridge, where Grady Hospital is an underpass there, where a lot of homeless people are there. And then we also service Gateway Shelter. So that was our outreach. And we did that monthly. And we started off taking food, sandwiches and drinks. And then it ended up being toiletries. And then it ended up being medications. And it ended up being just socks. And, they got to the point they knew our van. And, that was encouraging. That really made me feel good. It seemed like it was so little. It started off just sandwiches and drink, and it just kind of grew. And that just kind of started from me thinking, Lord, it has to be a way for us to help this. So I just guess I want people to understand it doesn't have to be these, burning bush moments where it has to be such a holy theatrical type of, call. It can be just this small inner voice, this calling, this tugging on your heart to address a need. That's God. That's the Holy Spirit. And you need to address that. When he's pulling on you, you need to turn to him, kind of like what Moses did, though. Turn, and he noticed the bush. So you need to turn and notice that tug, that he's tugging on you, telling you it's for you to do something. And it always blossoms. It always grows. It's like it always starts off small, just like with Power in the Pews. It started off with that little booklet, and then it just kind of grew.
You can find out more at powerinthepews.org. You can get the booklet there. Isn't that right, Camille, that where you can get the book?
Absolutely.
Get the booklet there, find out more about the show, and maybe how you can get involved as well in helping out with the homeless and just everything that they're doing there. Camille, thank you so much for the way that you are showing God's love and providing for physical needs, so you can also provide for spiritual needs. Thank you for what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah,
thank you so very much.
And listen to the show every Sunday at 7:30 a.m. It's Power in the Pews. And thank you for clarifying that we don't need a burning bush experience to do something. I was going to go out and rent Kill Bill, but now I don't need to hear God's voice.
He can tell you how it ends.
I just need to do it. So, but you're such a blessing. We appreciate your obedience, and look at the fruitfulness, and you won't be able to quantify probably until you get to heaven how many people's lives have been impacted just because you said yes. So, hey, be inspired if you're watching and listening. Camille Cook, founder of Power in the Pews, every Sunday morning, 7:30 on 970 WNIB.
Actually, it's 7 a.m. 7 a.m.
Oh, 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, maybe you should be 7 and 7:30. So there you go. Find out more at powerinthepews.org. Camille, thank you so much. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.